want to go in the air.
Marcus, I was saying that no, I did not have to
John
sign up for a
Cuppi.
draft.
Hey,
I didn't have to sign up for a
hey guys,
draft.
what's going on?
I didn't have to sign up for a draft.
Vic,
My dad,
Mike,
is a
DeMarco,
Vietnam
good to
vet.
see you guys.
Let's all talk at once. How about that?
Yeah, let's everyone just
Okay, we're ready to go. We're going to count down here. Hold on here. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to DroneNation for June 17th, 2024. The Countering CCP update tonight. And we have a little addition to the show. Vic Moss is going to join us for a few minutes tonight, kind of give us the latest information he's gathered on the CCP and what's happened since last week's show. We also have John Cuppi joining us on set here. He's got a lot of information, about kind of what got this bill, going a few years back. And you see the return of DeMarco Moore here from the Travel Baseball League. He's back tonight. Good to have him. Mike Wright's joined us from Texas there, and of course Marcus, IO Quadcopter Network. He's always co-host the show, holding things down. And just before we get into anything, I just have a couple of notes I want to update here. I want to send out happy birthdays to Bob Casey and Ken Hofbauer. Happy birthday, gentlemen. Happy birthday. And I also want to quick note, we had another drone go down last week. Rob Camarda was out flying with Captain Ray and lost his Mavic 3 at the Port Jefferson Harbor. It was some kind of a connection issue involved. And just shameless plug here, Rob is going to be on a Ray's show on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and they're going to kind of talk it all out. So if you don't want to know what's happened, 7 o'clock Thursday night, Captain Ray's show. And it was last week, Captain Joe America lost his drone, but that was due to a crash. That was all user error or whatever. It wasn't recovered. It's still down at the bottom of the swamp with the gators.
One more, Ron.
One more?
Our friend John Carroll, his Mavic 3 Pro got an ESC error, dropped from only about 15 feet on the ground, but did quite a bit of damage to the drone.
Oh, no. Sorry to hear that. So, okay. Well, let's get right to it. Vic doesn't have much time tonight. He's got a sick wife at home, so he's got to play, the good husband tonight. So, Vic, first of all, if you guys are followed on Facebook or social media, you probably think Vic and I are going to get into a big word tonight, but we're not. We're good friends. I totally understood where Vic's comments came from and whatever. He didn't know I was kind of being a little tongue-in-cheek in that video this morning. There is no drone ban right now. And right. So, I was kind of, last week was a bad week in the community. A lot of people were down. I thought I'd do like a little funny commentary before I did my flight last week, but not everybody got it. So, so there it is. And Vic's apologized. I accepted, and we're good on that. Vic, how are you doing?
Yes, sir. I'm doing. No, I'm doing good. I'm doing. Like I said, I have to take care of my wife. She's not sick. She had oral surgery this morning, so we have to take care of that. So do the dutiful husband thing, and she's put up with my garbage for the last almost 40 years, so I can put up with a little bit of sickness on that end. But as men, I'm sure we can all relate to that. But So again, and I know I apologized earlier. I apologize again. It's just it's a touchy subject for me, and I don't read things as well as I can at times. And I've had a couple other admin from other groups reach out to me and say, Vic, would you dial it back just a little bit, please? So, and I'm trying. I'm only human, but people who know me hopefully know that's out of character for me. So, but anyway, enough of that, right? So you brought me in to talk about the CCPDA. First of all, I want to tell Stefanik that in the future, would you please have shorter titles for your laws? It just makes it so much easier. The DFR, drones for first responders, ill-named, but at least it's a shorter name, right? So anyway, first of all, let's as you mentioned earlier, there is no drone ban. Okay, don't worry about it. There's no DJI drone ban. There's no Chinese drone ban. There is no drone ban. Period. End of discussion on that subject. That's usually followed by the word however, right? What's going on now is, so it's the Countering CCP Drones Act, CCPDA, is a House bill that has not been voted on. We want to make sure that's clear too. It has not been voted on in the House. It is not passed out of the House. So the bill itself is still I won't say dormant because it's not really being addressed at the moment. However, again, there's that word. It was added to the House version of the National Defense Authorization Act. The NDAA is something that every year the Defense Department has to be reauthorized. It's just the congressional charter, just like the FAA has to have done every 5 years. So what happened was somebody in the Senate, or in the House, and correct me if I do that wrong because I get them backwards a lot, added the language, and I'm sure it was Stefanik, added the language to the NDAA, the House version. That passed Friday on a vote of, that's why I pulled my article up, 217 to 199. So it wasn't even close to unanimous. It was almost along party lines, but it did pass. So now the Senate has a version. Last week was what they call their markup. Their markup is where you have the bill in this frame, let's say, and then you have different congressional folks, in this case senators, will go to these committees. We had the Personnel Committee and the Sea Power Committee were both subcommittees. Sorry, were televised, or not televised. I'm dating myself. They were broadcast, and the senators get up and say, I want this added and this added and this added and this added as amendments. And so they're marked up. The markups are the amendments. And those were all passed unanimously. The CCPDA language was not added in either one of those committees. So it's not in the Personnel Committee, nor should it be. It's not in the Sea Power Committee, nor should it be, or subcommittee, sorry. But what happens is then the Senate then goes behind closed doors and marks up the rest of the bill. As they should. We probably don't want something as important as the Senate or as the National Defense Authorization Act marked up on the computer. I mean, we really don't need to see what's going on. We don't have the security clearances, that kind of stuff. So you can't fault them for that. So what we need to find out now is once the Senate releases the actual text of their NDAA, we'll get to see if the CCPDA language is in it. We have an inkling one way, which I will not share because it's not been confirmed. But until we see it, we don't know. And that could be tomorrow. That could be a month from now. It depends on where it falls in the calendar. Now, my guess, and this is Vic pulling a number out of his ear, is that this is an election year. This is the NDAA. It's a very important bill. We're going to see it pretty darn quickly. That's just my guess.
Plus, the lawmakers go on vacation pretty soon, right, Bill?
Yeah,
right?
Well, that doesn't mean anything. I think they have 3 weeks on, 1 week off, and then they do take the summer off. So, yeah. Will it happen before they take summer session? We'll see. I think it will, but again, that's just me being me. I have no inside information on that either way. We'll find out when we find out. One good thing I'm seeing, or actually not seeing in this case, and Greg talked about it a little bit on his show an hour ago, and Lon was on there, so he was giving me a hard time there. But we're not seeing any tweets. Is it tweets or is it X's? I can never anyway.
Either one.
Either one. It's a tweet on X. There we go. We'll call it that. She's not bragging that her language is in the Senate NDAA. Pure conjecture on my part, pure conjecture on Greg's part, but I honestly think that's a pretty good sign. I cannot imagine a senator not reaching out to her and say, "Hey, I got your language in." If it happened, I just can't imagine.
Right. So you think she'd be taking a little victory lap if it was in there?
Victory lap, victory drink, victory. I mean, she's got a new baby, so maybe it's a victory baby carriage lap. I don't know, but
it makes sense.
So I don't know. So that's where we're at. If it is not in the language of the Senate NDAA, that does not mean we've won. If you go to my article, and you can post an article in the or my link if you want in the chat. So DSPalliance.org. Go to the newsroom. It's the first article. It's the update. It's updated information, and every time I get new information, I'm going to update it all week. It's probably going to be my part-time job this week, but I think at least 4 of us grew up on Schoolhouse Rock. And so you remember the one called The Bill, or How a Bill Becomes Law. I've got a link to that. It's kind of fun. If you didn't grow up on Schoolhouse Rock, watch it. Or if you did, it'll bring back memories. But
that was my favorite. That was my favorite growing up.
Great. Yeah. It was great. And I'll apologize in advance for the earworm once you do start listening to it. But excuse me. If it's not in the Senate bill, that doesn't mean it's not going to be in the final bill, because the Senate bill and the House bill are separate. I mean, they're going to be different. There's going to be different language in each. So they then go to what's called a conference committee. The conference committee then puts out the final bill. It goes to the president. And we're getting ahead of ourselves, obviously, at this point. But if it is in the Senate bill, then we can still fight it in the conference committee, which is not an easy task, but is not an impossible task. And then we still have to worry about if it's not, and it doesn't come out of the conference committee, so it's not on the final bill. We still then have to worry about Stefanik running it through the Senate. I'm sorry, running it through the House as the actual bill, and then having somebody on the Senate run it through the Senate. Now, I've heard rumblings, not directly, but from people I trust, that say Congress is tired of drone bills, as they should be. They've had a lot lately. So if it's not in the NDAA, then let's call it a victory at this point. And if it is, you can lose a battle and still win the war. So that's where it stands right now. And let's see. I mean, it literally has been waking me up at night, because that's just.
Yeah, Vic, is there anything we can do at this point to help things?
Yes, absolutely. If it's in the Senate, no, but we don't know if it's in the Senate NDAA, because that's a done deal at that point. For as far as then the conference committee, blah blah blah. But what you can do is go to DroneAdvocacyAlliance.com. It's a DAA. It's a grassroots organization of American and a couple of foreign drone companies. And the foreign drone companies are, one is, I wish I could remember who they are. You can see the list. It'll scroll through the bottom of our main page. They do stuff in the United States. And we had a Great Britain, UK company reach out to us, I think last week. And I'm part of the DAA. I'm going to,
Vic, I just post that link in the chat.
Beautiful. Thank you. So the DAA, the company from the UK, I don't know if they're members yet. I think they were, but they're worried about something like this happening in their country. So they're kind of joining us to see how we handle it, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, DroneAdvocacyAlliance.com. Go to our Take Action page. And right now we have 3 campaigns. And one of those campaigns is Countering CCP Drones Act. And we also have an agricultural Countering CCP Drones Act campaign. And if you're in the ag world, you can do that. They reached out to us as an industry and said, "Hey, we don't have anybody. Can you go ahead and set us up a page so we can get it to our clients?" And we said, "Yeah." So it's the first time we've done an actual vertical specific campaign, which is really kind of cool. So we were excited when they reached out to us. But if you look at our partners that scroll across the bottom of the page, we have some big names as partners. And again, the transparency aspect of this, which has really pissed off Stefanik, is that DJI helps us. They pay for some of our stuff. We're in the process of starting a do structure, so then we're self-sufficient. But they do not have a position on the board. They do not have a say in what happens, and they know it. So people are calling us a shill for DJI. Well, not people. Some congressional folks are calling us a shill. I've come. I mean, just this short of being called a communist spy. And if you knew anything about me, you'd know how ridiculous that is. So anyway, that is what I have to share. Does that help at all? I went fast.
I feel better already.
Good. That's my goal in life, is to help this community feel better, help this industry feel
better. Guys on the panel, do you have any questions for Vic?
I did see a quote from Chuck Schumer the other day that not having to do with the drones, but he said the present form, there are numerous items that the Senate will not pass in the NDAA. So it may take a while for that to get worked out,
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. And let's say this all happens. Let's say it happens, it's passed, the president signs it, blah, 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 blah. It then has to go to the FCC, and the FCC has to write the language of and the regulation could be as simple as adding to the secure communications and whatever that act is. DJI. I mean, I don't know how that works. I have no idea how that works, but it still should take a while after that. But my motto is, and it remains until I'm proven wrong, that even Congress is not this collectively stupid. They can't do something that asinine and shut down a multi-billion-dollar industry overnight. Our DJI drones, our current ones, I'm guessing, okay, I'm the eternal optimist. Supposedly this does happen again, and this is an important part. Yes. Lon, be nice. And I hope not, John. I hope not. But anyway, our current DJI drones and mics and gimbals, by the way, because they also have FCC licenses, will not be affected.
Okay, that's good.
So, and John, you didn't really call me that, did you?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
I
John,
thought
likes,
you were gonna say
I
there's
mean,
been no
Lon
comment.
likes to stir the pot.
I have pointed out that the DAA has on their website that DJI is a sponsor of
Yeah,
it.
they
So-
pay some of our bills, absolutely, and we're absolutely transparent about it. If we didn't have it on our website, I would worry. But all they pay for is voter voice, and our website, which that's what $200 a year, something like that. If you want to call it a budget, it's a shoestring budget, and we have not hidden that from the get-go. When we started this, that was one of the things we said. It's like we cannot hide the fact that DJI is right now is basically footing the bill for DAA. But why shouldn't they? Let me ask you that.
Yeah.
And from the get-go, it's always been, okay, we'll get you guys started, but we really can't be not paying you. We don't get paid for any of this. Trust me.
Lon, I don't remember.
We can't, DJI cannot be the sole supporter of this because it will look bad. And it ends up, Stefanik got pissed off about it and wrote a letter to the Attorney General, which I won't talk about.
Wow.
So John and I talked earlier today, and one of the questions that I think both of us have is how much is there an opportunity for, if I understand this correctly, the FAA at their discretion could then revoke the existing licenses for DJI.
FCC.
Or excuse me.
Yeah, that's okay. People do it all the time. I've been known to do it.
Say FCC.
Right.
But
there is language in the act,
right,
that says it can revoke current. I spent, and I'm not going to say her name because if I say the name of a staffer and it gets out, all the staffers talk together and I can't talk to any more staffers. But I did talk to a Stefanik staffer about 2.5 weeks ago at this point. Spent over an hour on the phone with her. And she's the one who deals with the Homeland Security type stuff. Basically, because I brought it up, I said, look, you say it just only applies to new FCC licenses, but it doesn't say you're not going to revoke current ones. She goes, oh, no, we don't want to do that. That's not our goal. I will take her at her word unless proven otherwise. That's just my nature, and it usually doesn't bite me in the butt, and I hope this one doesn't. But that's, could it happen? Absolutely. Is it going to happen? It's such a remote chance. It's not something I worry about. I have 9 DJI drones. Where am I? Back here in my fleet. I'm not worried about a single one of them. And they won't ground us. If that happens, FCC revokes the licenses, they'll still fly. Illegally.
Yeah, you'd have to be.
It's an insurance issue.
However, though, even if that person on Stefanik's staff says that's not what they want to do, it still could be at the FAA's discretion, correct?
FCC.
Or FCC.
I want to make sure they get the right information out here.
The FCC's discretion, right?
It could be absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
But that would be a bold move, and it would be basically if it was sponsored or asked for by a elected official. My guess is it would be political suicide.
There'd be some blowback.
90% of all first responder drones are DJI drones. The other 10% make up mostly Autel, and then a few Skydio X10s when they're in the air, when they can get them to fly. Oh, sorry, that was not loud, wasn't it? So if that were to happen, it would literally kill Americans. No politician wants that on their record.
Right.
No bureaucrat wants that on their record, because if the FCC did that, it would come from the upper echelons of the FCC, which are not employees, they're bureaucrats.
Okay.
So does that help alleviate that fear?
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, I don't have a great fear of that, but like Marcus said, there's always an outside chance of a
There's no
off
such
the
thing.
rails
Absolutely.
politician.
Listen, I think positive. I never in my wildest dreams guessed that it would get this far. Never.
Nobody did.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. When we started seeing this 2 years ago, we laughed. It's like, yeah, right. So what kind of idiot's going to do this?
Yeah.
Well, we found out her name is Stefanik.
Right.
So, and she has co-sponsors and stuff like that. And I'm not supposed to keep saying her name because that just gives her press, but I don't give a rat.
Right. Now another question, you mentioned, Autel and some of the drones. How about the other Chinese drone makers, Autel and everybody else, Fimi, any other Chinese drone maker? Will they be affected at all if this bill passes all the way through?
Not the NDAA, no. Now, possibly Anzu and Kodigo, whatever their name is.
Yeah, the white label drones, yeah.
Yeah, the other one.
Yeah.
Because if you look at CCPA, it's got the language of affiliates and what's the language? Let me look it up here. Sorry. Any subsidiary or affiliate thereof is in the language of the CCPDA.
Okay.
So they might be, but my guess is that if that were come to that, there would be lawsuits involved. It will not affect Autel, although Autel was recently just added to the list last week, the entities list. So we'll see on that. Now the DFR. Sorry, the DFN is a nonprofit I work for in India, but DFR, the Drones for First Responders Act, which is not even an act yet. It's got a number, but it doesn't have any text. So that would increase because we pay a 25% tariff right now, tax. I'm just going to call it a tax. 25% tax right now on all Chinese drones that come into the country, whether it's DJI, Autel. What are some of the recreational ones? I don't fly recreational drones. Anyway, anything that's made in
Hudson,
Bingo. Yeah, those guys, EXO, all that stuff.
Potensic.
Yeah, all those. They're all Chinese.
Right.
So we pay 25%. Now the DFR, then, if it's passed, will increase the tariff, the tax, 5% per year until it's 50% in 2029. And then on January 1st, 2030, that bill would then forbid any Chinese drones, fully assembled Chinese drones, from being imported in the United States. That's not even on my radar yet.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to put on your radar a minute. In 2030, do you think at that point we would have American-made drones that could equal or surpass our current DJI drones?
Nope. You got my answer on that one?
Even budget.
We don't have it. We don't have the design. We have the ability. We have incredibly smart people in this country. We have people who can do things like this, but we don't have the manufacturing capabilities. We don't have the chipsets. That's the key thing right there. We do not have the chipsets. We've got chip stuff coming online. We got one in Phoenix, one in North Carolina, one in Texas, I believe.
One in Idaho.
Big company. There we go. We've got some big chip companies coming online. Drones, where do you think they fall in the people who are going to get some of those chips?
Yeah, way at the bottom.
We're not even on the radar. We might be penciled at the bottom of a whiteboard somewhere. So we're not going to get those chips. We don't have the manufacturing. If you don't believe me, look at Skydio. They can't manufacture drones to fill what they need. And guess what? Skydio is using Chinese printers to make some of their parts. That was on a YouTube video. Go look up Ken Dono's Instagram channel, or Instagram channel. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so we don't have it. We don't have the capability. We have the ability, the mental ability, but we do not have the manufacturing capability. We just don't. And it's our own fault. We've been doing this since the early 70s. Manufacturing everything. We're sending manufacturing, we're sending R&D, we're sending customer support, all offshore. We are a global economy. And I don't think Congress gets that.
Well, this Congressman S, I'll just call her S. Does she understand what you just said about our manufacturing
100%.
proudness?
Well, I pointed out repeatedly to her staffer for over an hour. She goes, well, VC, this was her thing. So venture capitalists, once they see the void, they'll start filling it. It's like, okay, so what? You can throw all the money in the world in a hole. All you can do is fill the hole. You're not going to make something out of it. So no, they're coming about it in a very, very wrong position. They don't actually get it. They do not get it. And I also asked her, I got about 5 minutes, sorry. So I also asked her if they were going to run the CCPDA and the DFR together. She said, yes, we're running them parallel. It's like, okay, great. Suppose the CCPDA passes, you've cut imports on DJI, no more imports for anything new. You can still import, the Mavic 3 Pros and the Mini 4s and that kind of stuff. That's your income stream for the fund you're going to be using for the DFR to set up money for first responders. So you're cutting your own throat with the CCPDA if you're serious about the DFR. She didn't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
They don't get it. They do not understand what's going on. And I think the DFR was simply window dressing to appease the first responder community. 6,000 first responder organizations came out this week against the CCPDA language and sent it to a letter to the Senate and said, don't. 6,000 United States first responder agencies.
And those letters probably put a lot more weight in than just as a single user hobbyist drone.
Well, we've had the DAA, if I remember correctly, don't quote me on this, is we've had over 20,000 emails sent out through the website.
Excellent.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I want to thank everybody
for
first
such a
who's done
small
that.
hobby. It really is amazing.
Well, it's a hobby and it's an industry. So definitely, I know a lot of people are hobby people.
Yeah.
Well, I heard back from both my senators, and they essentially told me to go fly in a very nice way.
And go fly what and where? That's the question.
Not actually fly a drone.
I heard back from Hickenlooper's office today, basically saying the same. And I know, and I've talked with Hickenlooper. I know a couple of their staffers, and I've talked to them about some other things. And everybody gets a form letter back. We understand, and we're worried about security. Okay, if you're so worried about security, which is what this benefit, what the bones of this thing is about, right? Hey, what did DJI do this week?
Turned off your flight logs.
Flight logs.
Okay,
Yep.
I'm
No more
glad
flight
you brought
log
that up.
uploads. That was their main complaint.
I've got a question about that then.
Sure thing.
Why does DJI encrypt my flight logs? Or if we're encrypting them for a good reason, why can't I get the key?
You upload them to a website, and I don't know the specifics behind that. It's code, so I'm not a computer coder. I'd have to get my uber nerd son to explain that one to me. I have an art degree, so I don't know why. One of the reasons I know the communication between the controller and the drone is encrypted, so it can't be hacked, right? And the flight logs are in a data mode that just has to be read by somebody, but they don't hide it. They don't go around shutting down the websites and say, "Hey, send us your data, send us your flight logs."
It's like air data; it will decrypt them for you.
Yeah. So they're not hiding anything. Yes, sir.
But why is DJI continuing to have the geo zones then? We're communicating with their.
What would be funny is if DJI said, "You know what? If you guys are going to treat us like that, screw you guys in the geo zones. You can fly your drones wherever you want, and see how many drones fly in the White House lawn."
Yep.
I am a firm believer in the geofencing system because it keeps so many reckless flights out of the air. I'm a firm unbeliever in how it has been implemented for a lot of people. I think there needs to be a little bit better system, and who knows, maybe they'll just get rid of it after all anyway. It's like, you know what, screw it. I mean, they did it to protect American airspace. They did it to say, look, we're responsible. We can protect different areas of the sky. It's just I agree. They don't mesh. They don't mesh right sometimes. What the FAA says and what DJI says are no. The best way to get in trouble is to rely on the DJI app to tell you when you can fly.
If you go back to the flight logs for a minute, do you think that the stop whatever recording the flight logs helped at all?
No, they're not uploading anymore.
Did it help the bills at all towards our favor?
I hope so. I spent all day Monday morning. No, last week. Wow, it's Monday. Wow, this was a week ago. Before the markup started on Wednesday, I spent all day Monday morning, or all morning Monday morning, writing to every person on the Senate the Senate Armed Services Committee, explaining this to them. Did that help? Between what I said and what 20,000 other people said, and what 6,000 other first responders said, I certainly hope so. I hope so. And yes, they are
also,
very ignorant because
I
they're
know
listening
also,
to people.
Bruce, you and Billy Kyle have both made videos where you show how to put the DJI drones in. Is it low data mode where you
It's
turn
local
off-
data mode, and I haven't done one what Billy has. I have stuff on my computer where I recorded some DJI people talking about it, but I haven't had time to deal with it.
But you guys have already showed. Well, you know,
We
you
talked about it.
Billy
Absolutely.
showed how you can you put your DJI drone in low data mode. Will that help at all? If they can will that make them understand that
I don't know.
You can shut your drone down from transmitting.
My drones anyway don't. I do not fly connected to the internet. None of my drones are connected to the internet. I fly with RC. I fly with the RC and the RC Pros.
So the Chinese military is not watching your flights.
They're not. Now, when I'm flying my Mavic 3 Enterprise, I'm hooked up to an American RTK system, but that's it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Good. Just with the flight logs and the low data mode,
it's local data.
Their DJI drones.
Absolutely. There's no reason for it anymore. There wasn't, it could be debated all day long whether or not they actually used any, could use any of the data they sent. We could talk about upload speeds and data packs and all that all day long, but now that that is no longer an issue, it should not be an issue. They need to come up with another windmill to tilt at because the data is no longer being transmitted.
Yeah, good. I mean, you would think this would help us at the last minute, but
I hope so. I wish it would have done it a month ago. But I don't have any pull in Europe. I'm in Europe. I just read what Mark read. I don't have any pull. I don't have any pull at DJI. I wish I did. I paid for all those DJI drones back there. They don't give me squat.
Reconciliation will be the key for this.
It will be the key. Yeah, the reconciliation, the conference committee will be the key. Either way, because it's already in the House version. Right. But I really do need to get going. Does anybody have a question?
Yeah, any final questions before he's got to run?
Could be.
I'm good.
Okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
I put my email address in there. It's vic@dspalliance.org. If anybody has any questions,
I will.
And then, of course, dspalliance.org, my newsroom, the first article is the article I've got, and I will be updating that as I get information. I'm chasing something down today. Have not been lucky at it yet, but anything I get, I'm going to upload that. I get up 5 o'clock every morning, which I know is 7 o'clock for most of you guys. So it's like, boy, you're a late sleeper. And as soon as I hear anything, I'm not working this week yet. So I'll be updating that article. So
great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Vic, thanks for joining us on short notice.
Sure. Thanks for inviting me.
And kind of getting some of the misinformation maybe squashed a little bit out there.
I hope so. And next time you do a video like that, Ron, start off like, "Hey, this is tongue in cheek," so we know.
I thought maybe just the point that I'm saying is drone ban, and I take off flying seconds later it was kind of a hit that was tongue in cheek.
But the other
some people are actually judging. Well, the drone ban must not be in effect yet because I can still fly. So that's where my brain went when I saw your video.
And the fact that it's so emotionally charged for
hugely charged,
and you need to try, and all of us, I'm talking about all of us, dial that back and spend more time looking at the facts. Yeah,
which is what I try and do, and I fail miserably at it on occasion.
We all do.
Yes, we do. We're human.
So for right now, just keep flying those drones and having fun.
Keep flying drones safely and responsibly, and have fun.
Well, if you watch my whole video, I flew that thing line and sight.
It was very nice.
The safest flight.
I have a BB
flight.
I can fly 2 miles out on my BB loss.
I just got my cataracts.
Oh, hi, Kitty.
I just got my cataracts.
Your line of sight is 7 feet.
20 again.
Oh, nice. Yeah. All right, you guys have a great week.
Say hello to I hope she's doing well.
If you can't find my email address, you do not know how to use Google.
There you go.
So, everybody have a great time. God bless. All right.
Good night, Vic. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, I hope we got does anybody feel a little bit better about the countering CCP bill tonight?
Nope.
No.
I'm still pretty
down there.
Yeah, I'm still pretty worried about it.
I would better tell. Well, go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
I just wait and see, basically. That's all it
Yeah.
is right now.
Yeah, once we get through reconciliation and we know this part of it's dead, but as Vic said, hey, when does it end? So then you're waiting for it to push the bill out on its own, which could happen. And then the Drones for First Responders Act, that's another thing that could come right behind it. So it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle for, this isn't a few months.
Right. So we're going to kind of be on what he calls a slippery slope for a good while.
And the other point that we always need to make is be active in your local government as well, because if your local town says we're not allowing any drones to take off and within our township or our city borders or whatever, well, then you just can't fly in that town. So we got to pay attention to that too.
And on that note, Marcus, next week's guest will be Ryan. Say his Ryan's last
La
name.
Tourette.
Yeah, and he's big on that local ordinance and so on. So he'll be joining us next week. So if you have any questions for Ryan, he will be on the show with us next week. And now next week, Marcus is on assignment next week on the Oregon coast. He may or may not be part of the show next Monday night.
Yeah, looking forward to it. The decision is, what drones do I take?
Anybody has advice on what drones Marcus should take with him to the beautiful
All of
Oregon coast?
All of them.
Marcus, will you visit Cannon Beach for me and get some shots?
Probably I could go to Cannon Beach. Heck
There you
yeah.
go.
Yeah, right. So that's kind of exciting. I got some drone shots of the Atlantic already this year. So now I can do the Pacific.
And you get the haystacks.
Haystack Rock.
We don't have any haystacks back on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So, hey, I'm going to go to John for a second here. John, how does all this, DJI drone attempted ban or whatever you want to call it here, how does this affect the home-built hobbyist FPV flyers like you?
Yeah, so that's kind of a good question. So as far as the whole Part 15 FCC license stuff, I'll kind of start with that. It's kind of interesting, right? There's a lot of home built that's being flown that we don't comply with Part 15 all the time. If you've ever changed your antennas on your goggles, for example, that makes it a non-certified device. The Caddx Vista, really, really popular. That is actually not a certified video transmitter. Now, the 03, that is certified. Yes, the goggles in their original state, those are certified. But for the most part, since those devices are very offline, there's even less, obviously the Camarda guys, you guys are worried, like, could DJI push an update and break my drone? We've gone past all of that, right? But like all these things operate completely offline for us. So that's not even really on our radar, to tell you the truth. I am worried about one thing. Well, two things, actually. I don't know what service and support is going to look like. Like, let's say all of this goes through as written, right? And DJI gets kicked out of the country. They can't get any new products in, whatever. How focused do we all think DJI will be about dealing with America in general? Like, I mean, I don't feel like support is going to be a major priority for them. What do you think?
I mean, maybe they'll support drones, under warranty. But once they can't send a drone over for 2 or 3 years, maybe the repair, repair and support may fade away. Marcus?
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder what's going to happen when it comes to all of that.
Well, the other key is that I think that would also partially depend on whether they revoked their FCC licenses for previous products.
Yeah, right. That's a big factor, Marcus.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah,
but
I didn't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, but yes.
But the thing is, it, like Ron said, it eventually would just fade away and die, right? Because pretty soon all those drones are old enough that they don't need to provide service for them.
And also, I'm under no illusion.
Real fast, John. Lonsbeck kind of, he maybe see in my video, but he's saying what I kind of tried doing in the video. He says, when it's emotionally charged is the best time to make jokes.
Yes.
And that's what I was doing in that video. it was a mostly charged period last week, and I was kind of trying to make a little light of it a little bit, because everything was so heavy, and again, some people really invested like Vic and them, I didn't get it. So, but thanks a lot. John, go back to what you were saying. Sorry, I just wanted to catch up.
The other thing is going to be more of, I think it'll be sad to see the tech as far as HD FPV probably slow down a bit. And here's why I say that. I don't think HD and FPV would have gotten as far as it did if DJI didn't enter the game. Some people are not going to be happy with me saying that, but the reality is they upped the game there. And even though DJI could probably technically sell their FPV gear unlicensed the same way they do it with CADX, I just don't know if they're going to actually bother to go down that route. Look, I think the FPV, the self-build community, benefits greatly from all the research and development that goes into the ready to fly stuff, and then kind of just trickles down to us, if that makes any sense. Like, we know 04 is in the Avata too. Would we get an 04 air unit conceivably if DJI didn't have that, where they know they were going to make a ton of money there? I mean, the home build is such a small space to cater to, is what I'm trying to say. And if DJI knows that they can't ship any more camera birds out, they're not going to have that base to make money from. I don't know if we're going to have it. This also assumes that the US is big enough to make them not want to care about it. But hey, we have a lot of FPV flyers here in the United States. It is probably one of the biggest markets there is. So yeah, I'm just wondering if that's the end for that, so to speak.
Sorry. How possible is it for people who do home built FPV drones to make a drone with no Chinese parts in it to get under this bill?
Can't be done.
Can't be done.
Yeah, you pretty much can't. But that's not necessarily the issue with what's going on in the NDAA, right? The NDAA, remember, it only deals with DJI. What we're dealing with right now is only DJI.
Oh, so you could build a home built FPV drone with non-DJI parts.
Well, yeah, yes, you could, but
it had to be Chinese, but they wouldn't necessarily have to be DJI.
Okay, so we're talking about two completely different things here. You're talking about the first responders thing.
If DJI and all their parts and whatever technology gets banned, can you still build a nice FPV drone?
You can still build it even if it does go through tomorrow, the NDAA. You can even if in reconciliation, let's say it all sticks, tomorrow you're still going to be able to build whatever you want.
Right.
You're still going to be able to build whatever you want. The question will be, what does this part supply look like in the long term?
All they're doing is shutting down the FCC license, Ron. It's not a ban. It really isn't. They're shutting down the FCC license.
Right. And if the DFR shut down Chinese parts, that would affect Scottio as well. 5 years ago.
Yeah. Well, of course, is it semantics here? Their FCC is not going to, take any more. You're not going to be able to register any more drones over there. So in effect, they would be banning any new DJI drones, but not by automatically declining to, take their submissions. Correct.
Are you asking me or?
Well, I would just add to the panel that it's semantics or whatever. But if an organization is told not to take any submissions from a company like DJI, isn't that a ban in a way?
Well, if this is all just we're kind of just arguing semantics, right? Yes, the reality is eventually DJI will not have any more drones that are already approved to sell. And that's it. They're just going to be gone from the market. Yes, it's going to take a long time for that.
Worst case scenario. That's worst case scenario.
Well, actually, that's probably maybe the best case scenario. Well, if it has to go through, that might be the best case scenario, that the FCC leaves all of our stuff alone.
Yeah.
As it is.
All our current stuff.
It doesn't. Yeah.
But the other thing is, if the Drones for First Responders Act passes in 2030, I don't know of a single consumer drone that does not come from China. They 100% of them come from China. So by 2030, you just wouldn't have any consumer drones. That's it. You wouldn't.
Mark, do you think if the first bill passes, the CCP bill, that's a bad omen that the other bill is probably going to pass also? Or you think the other bill will stand on its own legs? It won't be affected at all by the first bill?
Boy, I'm not dumb enough
no idea
to say that I could answer that. Yeah.
And Richard said
they would never ban TikTok, would they? But they did. They did. And we actually had a discussion about this not that long ago on DroneNation. We talked about the fact that since the TikTok ban did technically go through, would the eyes be on the drones next? And it didn't actually take that long for this to escalate.
TikTok's already started legal procedures, correct, John?
Correct. They are trying to sue to get it removed. I no idea how successful they will be with that.
Right. But you know, it'll slow it down almost for sure. So, yeah, a lot of people are in the chat are saying they paid all this money for a drone or whatever. And
so we've all spent tons of money with DJI.
The ball game's not over with. You know, it's no, you know, nobody's saying throw your drones out or sell them on eBay or whatever. The game's not over.
No, I'm gonna bring up something a little maybe controversial.
Go ahead.
I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed with the way the government is handling this process. I want more transparency. I want to know what exactly do they know that led them to making this decision. You know, the politicians have not been completely forthcoming with any information that they have. We only know what's in front of us, right? I will say that I wish DJI themselves had done more before things got to this point. Removing the flight logs just a few days before the vote, like I've thought for a long time, why does that even need to be a thing, right? Another thing, and I've brought this up a lot over the last week, get the DJI app back in the Google Play Store. And if they can't do that for some reason, take what they call the bytecode wrapper or the encryption that they put on their apps that you download for Android on their website, get that wrapper off. Okay, there's no reason to be using that stuff in 2024. You should be able to download an app that's been inspected.
Why the flap's not in the Google store?
Pardon?
Anybody that doesn't know what.
Well, Google updated their rules a few years ago that said that the app needed to be in a form that would allow them to inspect it. And if you uploaded an obfuscated version of the app, then they were not going to approve it. Ever since then, DJI's apps have magically not been in the store.
Right.
And the apps that they provide on their website, we don't know. I don't know what DJI has submitted to Google, okay? But the apps on their website that they provide, they would, if they were submitted as is, then they would not be approved. Now, a big false, I can't remember what word I'm looking for. A big falsehood is that DJI is not allowed in the Google Play Store because of the entity list. That's just plain false. Okay, it's just plain false.
Not according to Lon.
Well, Lon has a lot to say.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I come from the Apple world, and you know the flap's always been in the Apple Store with no issues. And Apple used to have the reputation of being the most, you know, the hardest app store there was to get something.
The walled garden, so to speak.
Yeah,
you know, we've talked about the work by Kevin Finster online right here. We've talked about this before. All of his data is out there. We can see that DJI is not innocent, and
they lied about it. They
lie about it. And I know a lot of this happened a long time ago, that flight logs are being captured with images in them, and we know that they were just storing not only the flight logs but also the images were in these logs too. And again, there was a lot of denial about, and there still is to some extent. And his research is very, very interesting, and it's all out there, and there's more information out there. I would encourage people to go and look at it. I think the drone community has done a disservice to just suggest that DJI is completely innocent. They've never done anything wrong. When I see that, I kind of get pissed because I think some of the people that might be looking at what we're sending them are saying, "Oh, this poor little person who just wants his DJI drone just doesn't understand this national security risk that I have in front of me. They don't realize that they were mining all this stuff in 2017. They're not so innocent." So, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well,
what do you guys think?
John, here's a question. Here's more of a. I'll be like this.
I just want more transparency.
I'm saying something
that's
not really
all.
a question, but you know, okay, Mark and I, basically two people. We almost every flight we do, we almost always post it online, right? And usually, I even tell where I did the flight, or whatever. Well, DJI doesn't need to get the data from my drone. I post the stuff right on YouTube.
Well, there's
what advantage are they having to get it directly from the drone rather than me posting on YouTube? They can just watch it. Is there any?
Well, not everybody posts to YouTube. Number one,
not everybody. Not everybody.
What DJI? Here's what I object to is like what John was talking about. It comes down to transparency. They were data mining. They were using the data.
Allegedly, still technically, okay. But the data that Kevin has is compelling, in my opinion.
Let me finish, DeMarco. And then the thing is, they claimed that they weren't, and they were. They lied about it. So why would they lie? So they could have just come clean. They could have just said, you know what? Yeah, we did this, and you know what? That wasn't what we want to be, so we're not doing it anymore. Okay, that would give them some credibility, wouldn't it? They didn't do that.
The guy that lied in 2016 may not be working there anymore, though.
Yeah.
No. And taking the flight logs away at the 11th hour, just to me, was not a good look.
Right.
And by the way, to your point,
the low
Marcus,
data mode has been around for a little while, John.
That's true. But still.
Yeah.
I think listen. I want to
explain to anybody that you can put your drone in low data mode, and the flight logs are already off or whatever. At that point, what risk are you to the military at that point if you're flying on low data and you're not sharing any?
Well, even if they're taking all our data, Ron, I would argue that we're not much of a risk.
I agree.
However, so I want to make this point that John and I are just bringing up these facts. Does that mean that DJI should be banned? Hell no, I don't think so, because my Chevy Tahoe downstairs steals my data and sells it. So I'm more mad about that than I am this. So my point of it is it's not all just black and white. There are DJI has done some things that are kind of shady.
Wait, Marcus, but they were taking the data and doing what with it?
When you find out, let me know.
Yeah.
No.
I
don't know.
Allegedly, they were basically just gathering the intelligence. You can go and look up Kevin Finster. Sentiment mining is weird. I think it's a great video. It's a summary of what was found on their Amazon web servers in 2017. They've got some slides on there that explained this whole program that they were running, and it's really fascinating.
So Lon just brought something up. He said marketing. Lon, I agree. I could very well have all just been marketing. They wanted to see how we were using our drones so they could improve them. What a better way to market to us. It's very, very possible. Why did they lie about it, though?
John made the best point a few minutes ago earlier. They could squash this whole argument if they would. The senators in Congress, they would just let us know what they have. The information that they're basing this on, if they would just let us see, even in a redacted form or whatever, that could stop a lot of this, the back and forth.
The politicians should absolutely have what is in front of them, if anything, right? And like, even if it's, we might look at it and be like, oh wow, this really is nonsense.
Listen, I disagree. When it comes to national security, there's things that we don't need to know.
I
That's
did
fair.
think
That's
it redacted for him.
That's why he said redacted.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that the people should be trusted. You know, I think if there is data, this whole trust me, bro, it needs to be banned is not enough. That's just how I feel with that.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
said,
I
I want to
mean,
see
yeah.
more.
Yeah.
I want to see people do better from all sides of this. To be honest.
Yeah.
But here, hold on.
Coming in some of the stuff they
Hold
said.
on, Ron, hold on.
Go ahead,
They're
Mark.
getting data. They were getting flight logs, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Pictures,
It was the flight logs and photos. They were storing photos in the flight logs. Yeah.
And how was that a threat?
Well, that's what we've been discussing, DeMarco.
Yes.
That's exactly what we've been talking
Not a
about.
threat. Yeah.
I think for the person just flying in their house, it's probably not. But I think that there's a problem with our infrastructure. These things being used to check out infrastructure and having all of that go back. I mean, do you guys not see how that might be an issue? Having nice high resolution photos of like the Google Maps thing. I know someone's going to say, but what about Google Maps? It's not the same.
Not the same.
No, wait. You don't need Google Maps. If they really want to
thank
see
you,
something,
Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. And it is intentionally obfuscated.
If they really wanted to see
Neo.
a electrical power station, they can just have their people put up drones and take their own pictures.
That's not true, DeMarco.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's just not true. Well, they maybe they could, but let me tell you what it gives them is your Joe Blow construction company, and you take highly detailed maps of a given structure of a power station, of individual power lines, and these are high resolution close up pictures. You'd have them, and trust me. I'm sure you could learn a lot, and I'm sure.
Admittedly, they weren't super high resolution.
Low data mode.
I probably shouldn't have said that they were super high resolution because they weren't, but they were not thumbnails either. I've downloaded it, and you get some pretty. It's not like it's a little YouTube thumbnail size thing.
The point of it is, I don't think that there's no risk, but because there is some risk. But do they deserve to be banned? And I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think
they
so.
could just be told to fly in low data mode within your infrastructure.
There's a lot of things.
All mapping companies fly in low data mode.
Ron, you talked about it already. All you got to do is not transmit anything from your drone. You can set your DJI drone up to do that. There's all those kinds. What we need is data security laws. We don't need anti-drone laws. How about that?
There you go, Marcus. There you go. I vote for Marcus for state senator.
There you go.
I see. I'm getting.
What's the take on your local Texas politicians on all this drone bills?
They're anti-drone. John Cronin and Cruz.
Okay,
Cool.
they're buddies with Stefanik, huh?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Well, yeah.
And John, you said you talked to Hawley.
Oh no, I didn't talk to him.
Oh, okay.
Actually, so I had 3 senators, and 2 of them got back to me by email pretty quickly after I filled out the form, and the response from the first 2 was basically, we, I understand your concern, but also China. And they basically kind of tried to convince me that they're doing everything they can to protect America from China with what they're doing. So yeah, that was the bulk of my response. And Josh Hawley finally got to me today, and it was just a canned email. It didn't even directly address to it. So I was not even expecting a big response from any of them.
Yeah.
They don't. They just. This is not on their radar. This stuff just really isn't even on their radar, dude. Anyone who watched C-SPAN also for 5 minutes to see what went on with the NDAA would tell you that the drone stuff being on page 726 was just not going to come up in the grand scheme of conversations for that bill.
DeMarco, what's the political climate in Arkansas on this drone bill?
Ron, I have no idea. I refuse to waste my time even talking to them because they don't care.
That doesn't help us keep our drones, DeMarco. I'll say that.
Hey, I don't care.
Okay.
This is.
Hey, it doesn't take much to send an email, dude. You just send it. That way you can at least say I
I
tried.
actually had. Hey, no, wait. I hope this doesn't go through. But like me wasting my time calling them is not going to change the thing. So happens. It happens.
That's fair.
Next time you complain to me about something political, DeMarco, I'll say, hey, what do I care?
No. Here, I'll tell you this. Do I want it to go through? No. But if it goes through and DJI goes away, I'll find something else to fly. Or I'll just do my cars then. That's it.
Wow. I'm glad the rest of us don't feel that way.
Well, hey, has anything changed yet?
No, but if you don't do anything, you're just at the mercy. So
Exactly.
there's that.
We're all at the mercy, brother.
Okay, we've had a kind of a controversial show, so let's go to more of our usual agenda here for a few minutes and kind of get things calmed down. We always have a DroneNation deal today, and we're not going to suspend it just because of all this.
That's our prayer, Jeff. Pray. Come on, let's pray.
This DJI build stuff. We're still going to recommend DJI drones until the fat lady sings. Okay, the DroneNation deal today is the DJI Mini 3. This is just the Play Mini 3, not the Pro. Marcus has this drone with the standard controller. It's only $329 on Amazon.com. I've dropped the official DroneNation affiliate link in the chat here. Now, I talked to Marcus last week and told him that DJI had dropped it to $349 on their website, and Marcus came back to me with a better deal for $329 on Amazon. So, Marcus, you have this drone, and you also have a lot of other second-tier drones that kind of fall in the same kind of price categories between what $329, $350. How does those drones stack up against the Mini 3 as far as camera, flight performance, all the standard stuff?
Not even on the same page. that Mini 3.
You'd recommend a friend or relative to go with this deal.
For $329, my goodness, that's a steal. You get OcuSync 2. So if you look at any of those drones that I fly, they always have some kind of connection problems or this, that, or the other thing. There's always something going on with them. And yeah, sometimes I work through them, sometimes not. You can buy that Mini 3. You're not going to have any problems. The drone is going to fly. You're going to have a good OcuSync 2 connection to the drone. It's got a superior camera to any of them. It has it can shoot in vertical video.
True vertical.
It flips the camera, which is becoming more and more important to a lot of people. It has a ton of features. Now, what DJI never does on any drones that don't have OA, they do not put any kind of tracking on them or waypoints. And you don't get things like master shots. You do get quick shots. You don't get things like master shots. However, they'll still do panos. I believe I'd have to go look. I think you can still do a hyperlapse with that drone as well.
I believe so, and all the standard quick shots.
Yeah, the quick shots are all there, and it has a far superior camera. And
also, Marcus, with the what do you call it? The plus battery, you get 51 minutes of flight time, which outdoes all the second tier drones. Correct? You're ready to land the drone by the time you get through that battery. And like I said, the camera is just better than any of them. Period. $329. Free shipping.
Yeah.
And okay, for anybody that needs a little bit more of a drone but wants to keep their price down, the DJI Air 3 is only $879. Now, it's a standard kit, right? These are all standard kit, standard controller. $879 at Amazon and DJI.com. And also, shameless plug, the official DroneNation affiliate link is in the chat there. But I know a lot of us on the panel, well, yeah, at least three of us had the Air 3. And Mike, can you talk a little bit about this deal for only $879 for the Air 3? Mike, you muted yourself.
We can't hear you, Mike.
Congress muted him. They don't want him to share this.
No, it's a fantastic deal. I mean, I think they're getting ready for the Air 4, basically.
Clearing inventory, huh?
Again.
They could be clearing inventory for the ban. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
no
maybe too
ban.
early,
Remember,
too
you
early.
can't, you
We're
can't
done
say
with
they
that,
were
okay?
banned anymore.
Too early, huh? Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a no-brainer to me for somebody getting one of a good drone.
Yeah, if you want to upgrade from say a mini drone, this would be a good step up, right, Mike?
Oh, exactly, without a doubt. I mean,
Now the Air 3 has good low light capabilities, right? Or am I wrong
Yeah,
on that?
it does, but of course the Mini 4 has almost just as good too. The main thing you get with the Air 3 is you get that second 3x tele camera, which is is nothing else like it on. I mean, it's nothing else like it unless you buy the Mavic 3 Pro for $2,100 or whatever. That thing is so much better than your digital zooms and whatever. Mike, you have some. You like that?
I don't know.
You like
I
that
don't know the
3X.
price difference. Yeah, I don't know the price difference between the Mavic 3 Pro and the Air 3 is worth the difference on it now. Mavic 3 is
right now with that
Air
$879. That's almost a what a $1,300 price difference
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah, that's why the Air 3 is such a great drone. That's one I fly all the time now. I don't fly my Mavic 3 anymore.
Yeah, I mostly switched over to just because of 3X tele.
Right.
Yeah, I was flying my Air 2 last week.
Too.
Oh, I was flying my Air 2
Go
last
ahead, John.
week, and it was at night, and I was trying to capture some really cool lightning, and I realized pretty quickly that unfortunately that the night vision on that kind of quad just wasn't going to cut it.
Which drone was it, John?
It was the Air 2, and I kind of knew it was going to be a crapshoot, right? It just doesn't have doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these newer drones, what they did is they put those extremely open apertures, like the 1.6, 1.8 apertures or whatever. And that's good for low light, but also it lets in a lot of extra exposure during the daylight. So you have a tendency to need more ND filters when you're shooting at real bright lights. So it's a trade-off for everything, John. So, yeah. So anyhow, anybody
well, I'm gonna jab Mike a little bit. If you'd have got that Mavic 3 Pro, you'd have all three of those lenses, Mike.
You're right about that. I just never bought the Pro.
Well, Mike already has all three of those lenses, but not all on one drone.
That is true.
That's
Yeah,
true.
he has them all. He just doesn't have them all on the same drone.
That's right.
So, and Mike doesn't mind taking a lot of drones with him.
No, I've been cutting back recently.
Yeah, you have been. You've been doing good.
Yeah, been doing better.
So, anyhow, I don't want to push DJI drones too much with what's going on now, but these are tremendous deals out there. I'm not lying to my guys.
Not at all.
Not lying at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
FEMI dropped the price on their FEMI Mini 3.
That's another story. Yeah,
$299.
When the FEMI Mini 3 first pre-launched or whatever, it was at $299. A lot of people jumped in and got that order in early. And then when the drone was officially released, they bumped the price up to $349. But just as of today, it dropped back to $299. Now, I think that's temporary. So if you're thinking about the FEMI Mini 3, you want to grab it before that price goes back up again. And there have been some positive reviews out on the FEMI Mini 3. So you may want to check them out. I know a lot of people, don't really think much of FEMI, but take a look at a couple of review videos. Gorilla Man has an excellent series of videos on the Mini 3. And Marcus got a chance to do a kind of a look back at the FEMI Mini 1 and Mini 2 in a recent video.
Yeah.
You were pretty happy with the performance of those drones after
it was a good flight. They've clearly improved them with some firmware updates. There's no question about it. Yeah, I mean, the camera is not, it just isn't up to what, like, for instance, the Mini 3 that we were talking about.
Yeah.
However, the DJI Mini 3, I meant to say. However, the drones flew great, and they have a lot of good features on them.
I believe you get the waypoints and what's the other one? Waypoints and tracking on that drone.
Mm-hmm. You do.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying as good as DJI's, but they have them. So again, go over to the Gorilla Man's channel, and I keep watching Marcus's channel. You never know what may pop up over there. So
thank you, Ron.
Okay, here's another story here. This kind of happened at the end of last week. Jasper Ellens, who's been kind of being quiet on the Twitters and the X's, he was a big DJI drone leaker in the past, but he put a picture up showing a public beta tester who left his supposed Mavic 4 on the street that was caught on video by a bystander. I have a link in the chat to go to Jasper's site and look at the picture if you haven't seen it already. It's kind of just sitting by the drone bag, whatever, and it kind of looks like a combination of a kind of an Air 3 and a like a kind of a Mavic 3 or whatever. Has anybody in the panel got a chance to look at that picture?
No, where is it?
I'm
I
not saying
don't see how you can tell anything from that picture. I looked at that picture awful close. How can anybody call that an Air 4 or whatever? I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I mean, it was the typical grainy, out of focus shot or whatever. Mike, did you get a chance to look at it?
I didn't have a chance to look at it. However, we did hear, last week, one of our Canadian friends said, look out for more leaks this week.
Yeah. And so far, haven't seen anything since that.
Yeah.
The grainy photo, the kind of what do you call it? The grassy knoll photo. Michael get the grassy knoll reference.
I got it. Yeah.
There you go in Dallas.
Dealey Plaza.
Yep. Hey, gentlemen, I need to sign off. I've got to. I'm like I said, we're getting up early to head for the Oregon coast tomorrow, and I've got a lot of things to do between now and then. So,
well, Marcus, you have a safe trip, and let us know what drones you packed up or whatever and take with you, and hopefully we'll get maybe we'll get to chat with you Monday. I won't say hopefully, because if you're out doing capturing great photos and having a good time, don't worry about coming on. But if you're in a hotel and you got a chance to drop in with us, please come by.
that's a big 10-4.
Have fun time, Marcus.
All right, Marcus, say it, buddy.
You have a
Good
safe
night.
He's slowly fading away.
very slowly.
I think we got kind of two more stories here. As a drone maker, DJI prepares to end its flight sync capabilities for U.S. pilots on June 12th. We talked about that a little bit with Vic, and Marcus got away just before he was the featured man in this story. But the drone fleet and aerospace management specialist Aloft is making sure that historical logs of the users are synced to encrypted Aloft Air Control platform. Now, I know that paragraph doesn't make a lot of sense, but in other words, if you want to save your DJI logs that DJI has stopped doing and they're going to completely get rid of on the servers by the end of this month, Aloft has a free service where you can send those flight records over to them. It's limited capacity. If you want to pay a certain amount of money a month, you can have almost unlimited capacity to move all your flight records over to Aloft. Now, Marcus has done this procedure. We talked about it on the phone. Again, I should have got this started before we left. Micah, did you take advantage of this service with Aloft?
Yeah, but I use AirData. AirData is also in the process of doing.
Oh, okay, good.
What can you store for free? I'm not familiar with the plans.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had brought this up for Marcus. It's a limited. It's either a limited amount of time or data that you can move over with a free plan. Like, I guess if you were a new DJI flyer, you didn't have that many flights in, it would work out perfect. But somebody like Marcus, who's been flying DJI and creating logs for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, it wasn't enough storage.
Right. Well, I mean, like, even I would say even skill level is not necessarily relevant either. For me personally, I'm just a hobbyist. I fly every now and then. I don't have this need to store logs for years and years and years. I might be fine with whatever free option they have. I still need to look at that.
You probably
honestly.
would be. Yeah.
I
know. Part 107 pilot is required to keep logs. It doesn't have to be a digital log. You could just write down a notebook, but of course you can't beat a digital log like that.
Do you have to keep the logs for how many years? Do you have to keep the logs for? If
we talked about that, I never went back into the Part 107 training and got that out. How many years it was?
I don't remember.
Mike, you don't remember?
I don't know. I remember AirData used to also have like 100 flights free.
That's it.
Subscription goes up to 400 flights, but you can do it. 100 flights is probably plenty for a consumer,
There you go, John. I don't know what Mike says. AirData is 100 flights. I don't know what Aloft was, but I mean, it was enough. It was enough for the situation you just described, John.
Yeah. No, it sounds like that would be fine for someone like me.
Yeah. So if you have any more questions about that, I haven't done it yet, but you can just go over to Aloft or like Mike said, AirData. Just visit their websites. It won't be hard to find out, what the costs are, or maybe take advantage of free services if you don't have a lot of data. So it's a good thing, and and of course these will be stored on, I guess, American servers, so it won't be any worry, the CCP getting a hold of them. So yeah. So one of our biggest fans out there, Richard, sent this little item in because Richard just recently, because of what he thought would be, the not being able to get DJI drones, he went out and he bought doubles of some of his favorite drones on eBay, so he would have them before any shortage of, I'm not going to say the B word anymore, any shortage of DJI drones out in the marketplace. So he had a little bit of bad experience. He bought 2 drones. One of them he bought from a legitimate, guy, but the second drone he tried to buy from a scammer. And luckily he got it all taken care of. He got his money refunded. But he said there seems to be 3 things that should raise concern when buying a drone on eBay. Number 1, the drone price is significantly lower than the current market price. Number 2, the seller has a very low number of eBay feedbacks. And number 3, the seller has not had a sale in the last few years. So one that looked like it kind of scamming him, and he was luckily able to get the money back. He said that I think he said that one of their games is they hope to make the sale, get the money, and take it and close their account down before anything happens. Before the buyer complains. I guess that's the scam these guys are trying to run. I told him, I'm more of a seller than I am a buyer. So, I don't really have too much experience. I mostly sell drones on sites like that, not buy them. But Mike or
right.
anybody?
I agree. I like to sell typically I sell on marketplace.
Yeah, we sound like we're stockbrokers here or something. I'm a seller, not a buyer.
But I would go to eBay for some things, So
yeah. I mean, I purchased from eBay, like, from the official DJI store on eBay.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But not off some guy with one feedback or one sale or whatever.
No, that's pretty common. This should be common sense,
Yeah. John, do you have any experience with buying and selling on the eBays?
Oh, buying and selling on eBay. I haven't sold something on eBay in a long time. I get worried. Honestly, I get worried to sell any drone on eBay because PayPal is terrible. So is eBay about just letting anybody return anything they've trashed. Yeah.
No,
anything.
As far as I know, like, they don't take PayPal anymore. They stopped.
Yeah, see, that's how long I haven't sold anything on eBay.
Yeah, I mean, they basically do their in-house, right? It's all in-house now, right? They somehow.
So they don't take PayPal. Period. It's not even an option.
No,
because I know they were pushing away from that for a while, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But as an end user, you don't notice a whole lot of difference or whatever.
If I go to sell a drone or something like that, I just try to sell it locally, which rarely happens, to be honest with you. I don't prefer to sell it in marketplace, or I try to just sell it to somebody that I know.
No, yeah. I'm pretty good. Between Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp, which is like an app on the phone or whatever, I'm pretty good at getting rid of all my drones. And usually I find a good home for them. I usually connect with somebody that's like a real drone fan, and it's almost always a good experience. So
I think if you're a buyer, eBay is a no-brainer, to be honest with you. Again, it's pretty easy. The eBay will almost always side with the buyer, as far as I can tell. As long
You're
as
exactly right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've never felt unsafe buying anything on eBay, knowing that if something happens, the return is not going to be an issue.
Right. It's a seller that's more at risk. Too bad Marcus left again. He had an incident a couple years ago where I believe he sold a pair of Nafi, and the buyer complained something was wrong with it, sent it back, and the guy had like basically totaled the thing or whatever, and sent it back. Flew it totaled and sent it back to Marcus. Marcus wanted a full refund. So and of course eBay backed the seller up.
Yeah, eBay's not. Yeah, I mean, dude gets a drone that you sell. They've never flown a drone in their life, and they crash it because they're not paying attention or something. They may even think, "Oh my, I didn't cause that. That wasn't my movement." So the seller just gets boned. So it's selling on eBay sucks. If you can, just sell it. Try to sell that stuff locally. is what I would do. But hey, if you're a buyer, eBay is great.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
all right. Well, thanks for sending that in, Richard.
Okay.
Appreciate that. It hopefully could save somebody, getting scammed on, eBay or any such service. Not picking on
Richard
eBay here.
says eBay still does use PayPal.
Okay.
Oh, do they?
I tried to sell something a couple months ago though, when they said no.
Hmm.
I wasn't taking it anymore. I mean, so I sold it on Marketplace, which was great anyway. So
Yeah, and the advantage of if you sell something on eBay, and you're of course shipping it most time, you lose a ton on fees, right? But like on a Marketplace or my OfferUp, if you actually meet the person face to face, you don't lose any fees. You only lose the fees if you have to ship it. So in other words, you could sell $1,000 drone on eBay, and you probably wind up getting $800 or whatever after the fees. But you sell $1,000 drone on Marketplace, you beat the guy down at the local hamburger joint or whatever, and you got all 1,000 of the money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a advantage too of that. I know a lot of people don't like to do the face-to-face meetups. I totally understand that.
Yeah, we're on in our area. We have the what they call them, the exchange zones, safe exchange.
Yeah,
the local police departments, and they're under 24-hour surveillance, cameras monitoring. So
Yeah.
I always meet theirs during the daylight hours.
I'm on the same wavelength. I don't know if we had that, but I always meet them right across the police station.
Well, we meet
It's
at
like
the
a little
police
park
station.
right across the police station.
Yeah. And they'll let you meet indoors if you want to as well, the police department as well.
Oh, wow. That is good. That is good to hear. So, yeah. So anyhow, that's it for the agenda tonight. It's been a tough week. Last week, a lot of people were kind of down and out about all the news, and maybe it's the drone, maybe it's our fault too for kind of report too much bad news. Take some of the blame for it or whatever, or saying misinformation or exaggerating stuff or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, DeMarco, you haven't really been on in a while. I mean, what's your mood been during all this?
I've kept an eye on it, but like I was saying earlier, I mean, these people will do what they want to do. So I'm not gonna worry about it.
DeMarco's just he's like, it is what it is. And
Go with the
in
flow,
some ways
huh?
you're not wrong, dude.
No,
You're not wrong.
I'm not done. I'm not done. No, I mean, I don't want it to happen, but you guys have all written letters and called, and nothing's happening. And like, I don't have a channel, I don't want it to happen. But if it happens, there are worse things out there that I'm worried about than this. So I'll find something else to do. I'm not making a living with my drones. Or for the people who are, I'm sorry for you, and I hope Alltel has something good for you. But we all know
Alltel
that
just got
these
entity
guys are
listed
best.
today. Apparently, I didn't know that. Vic told us that. I had no idea that they've now gone on the first list. That was kind of the downhill, the beginning of things going downhill for DJI was that entity list in 2020. So now Alltel is on
That's
it.
the first step on of all this.
Yep. I mean that was the first. That was the first first sign of trouble for them.
Yeah, and I understand what DeMarco is saying. Some politicians, it doesn't matter if they got 1 million letters or whatever, they're bound and determined to do something. They're going to do it anyways.
We're a small group as well. Listen, hopefully the people that are the first responders and whatnot who are using these things every day, I think those people probably have the biggest pull to make some kind of difference there. But I'm not holding my breath. Bob Casey, happy birthday, Bob, by the way.
Happy birthday,
again.
Bob.
He told me I need to be a little more optimistic. It's hard to be optimistic, right? Especially with everything we have going on. It feels like, Marcus told me it feels like we're constantly under attack. This hobby is just constantly under attack. And I definitely don't disagree on that one. On the local level, it seems like it doesn't get easier. I remember, I guess since I started flying, my first quad was a SEMA, the X5C1. You guys will remember that. It was 2014. It's been about 10 years of flying drones now, I guess, as of 2024. And it's there's just been more regulation, more red tape to do it ever since I started flying. So it is a shame.
John, now that's something different. If it was local, I'd be all about it. I'd be up there talking to them.
Well, you can make a difference locally,
Yeah,
yes.
you make a difference, but not. But earlier, back to what I was saying earlier, Jeff Newman said, typed in the chat, "Oh, DeMarco, hoping is not a good thing." Okay, Jeff, let's pray. How about that? Let's pray that this law doesn't get passed. It's not going to help.
And maybe we could tell Senator, I'll call Senator, maybe she could just pray the drones won't send any information to the Chinese military.
Yeah, listen, everyone should contact their people, make every effort, don't leave any, stone unturned, because you definitely, in my opinion, if you don't say something, then definitely 100%, nothing will happen for sure, So if you do contact people, I will say, be careful of some of the points that you choose to bring up. Like I saw, for example, here's a comment that stuck out to me. Somebody said, "Wow, we're worried about DJI and we allow land to be purchased by the Chinese right next to military sites here in the United States." And that comment had like 50 thumbs up. I think I saw it on Mads Tech's video. And the funny thing about that comment is that has actually started to rapidly change. My state banned banned Chinese companies from being able to buy property close to military sites, and many other states are following suit on that. And that was just this year. That was just 5 months ago. So don't use examples like that in your emails, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Be careful about what you put in there.
Yeah, stick with the first responder angle, because nobody can argue that the first responders don't need the best drones that they could possibly get in their hands.
Yes.
Yeah, and DeMarco, you say you're not affected in a way, but you are. What if you or your family, you need a drone to rescue you in a certain situation, whether it's police, fire,
no, Marcus. Ron,
you want the best drone coming to help out, right?
No, Ron. I'm not saying that I'm not affected. I've been flying drones since 2016. It's a fun hobby. It is, like, I love it.
You remember you showed us your first drone video.
Yeah, I showed you that first bad drone video. It's a fun hobby. What I'm saying is this: the people who are making these laws, we all know their names. Their minds are made up. It was no different than remote ID. Minds were made up. Yes, they listened to. Okay, thanks for sending an email, and then they take the check wherever they're taking it from and pass the bill.
Yeah.
Now, Mark,
That said, if you want to write the letters, I'm not mad at you. What I'm saying is, I'm not wasting my time writing letters. But for the people who do, I don't look down on you at all. Great. I'm not doing it though.
Hey, let me just answer Ray Kelly's question from almost a half hour ago at this point. Can you buy just the Air 3 drone? I did see it available, I believe, on Amazon. You could get the drone, I believe, for was it either $829 or $849 if you just want to buy just the Air 3 drone. So, yes, you can. That was on Amazon. I don't know about DJI. And I want to shout out Richard here. He sent in a generous donation of $10. Thank you so much, sir. So take care of a little business there. Thank you, Lon.
Lon.
We love Lon.
Yeah, we got to get Lon back on soon and get his take on all of this mess going on down there.
Maybe Billy too. Maybe Billy Kyle will come on with Lon, and we can.
Billy made that excellent video where he showed the low data. Billy made that great video where he bought a Mini 4 Pro from Best Buy. He set the drone up. He showed that the only data you have to give it is email. Give it email and password. You can make that up on the spot. And then you need that to activate. Once you activate the drone, you can put it right in the low data mode. You can go back and delete that email account, and that's the only thing you have to give them. So if you wanted to go totally, stealthy, all they would know is the email address you set up for 5 minutes to activate the drone.
That's true, Ron, but he did not address anything had to do with geozones.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Wright, for pointing that out. I was hoping you.
I pointed it out to Billy, and he,
Yes, that was a big screw up. That for the geo zones, he did not point that out.
Those,
Yep.
Right.
But hey,
right.
if they remove all the geo zones, then that won't be an issue. But
that's true. But they're still here now.
Yes.
Maybe not in all of Europe, but they are here. So.
Yeah.
By the way, to be fair, I totally recognize the reason why geozones exist. Like if they didn't exist, we would probably have way more people doing stupid stuff.
Well, I agree. That's
I
what
get
Vic was saying.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
But it's a hassle.
That would happen. Idiots would
it's good for three.
be out there flying.
It's good for 3 days.
It's kind of funny. I used to be very anti-geozones. I like to own my hardware. I like to be as fully in control of my hardware as possible. But then I realized that the idea of the drone hobby itself self-regulating entirely, especially as it got bigger and bigger. And there were people that are just what I call outside the hobby, which are, not people like all of us here that we try to follow the laws, we follow the regs, we do all the things that, we do
everything
we're drone
right.
nerds.
We do everything right.
We live, breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we eat this stuff for breakfast. A lot of people don't, obviously. And, those people need some kind of safeguard, so to speak. So I get why they did it.
John, but here, let me say this. I think, for those people, not us, like we're all big drone nerds and follow all the channels and read all the blogs, whatever. But the FAA and the government have done a terrible job of informing the public.
Yes.
On drones.
They have.
What you can't do on terrible.
They have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like you have people like I said this before, my neighbor who likes drones knows nothing about the trucks, nothing about that stuff until I told him.
Yep. Yeah. And the FAA has done a terrible job.
And DeMarco, you made the point many times. You go down to Walmart and you buy a drone, and there's no warning, anything on the box about any of these rules or regs or the trust test or whatever. There should at least be some information on the box, in the box, but there's none.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way that you and I and all of us, most of us in chat know about it, because we're in here talking about it. We're in here talking about it. Whenever I've sold a drone on Marketplace, most of the time, I've always sent them the link to this page and other pages. Hey, join our group. And very rarely have I think one drone that I've sold, I've seen somebody pop in. They're not into it like we are. They wanted the drone, but like they didn't want this. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Public vote wouldn't do anything because the general public doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're in quite a mess, aren't we, guys?
Yeah.
How did it ever get to this point, John, from 2014, from that first flight with the C-Max 5?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's prior to regulation. There was none.
Yeah, Bill Grace has used the ballot box as a starter, but sometimes there's not even there's no good options at the ballot box.
You're right about that.
Oh boy.
There we go. I said it.
That's my friend Patrick saying that he thinks that the politicians' minds are they're made up and they're going to do what they want. Yeah. Ron says, why would DJI make any effort to support the trust test or anything else while they've been under attack for several years? That's fair. And hey, it makes me wonder about what things are going to be like post. Can we say DJI ban? I guess we can't say that, Ron. I need to stop using that language.
Yeah. Like John, but
let 2029, 2030.
John, if you were a senator or a congressman and you knew nothing about drones and this bill came up, if you were responsible, wouldn't you at least look into it? Hey, let's hear both sides.
Yeah, I want to say that I would. Yes.
Yeah, I would.
Yes.
I would. Yes. But what I mean by that, I mean not like I know something that we all don't know, but once you're on one side of it, no,
Hey, listen,
Doesn't matter
one thing I
what
think we can all agree
party you
on is that taking something like this and sticking it in the National Defense Bill to make it hard to just
Yes.
focus on the one issue, that's dirty as hell and
Yes,
always
it is.
has been.
Sneaky.
And that's something that should change, period. Almost
It is
everybody
terrible.
can agree on that.
Yeah.
That's
And they
politics, John.
Put it in
Yeah.
there so it would pass. That's it.
Yes. Yes. I mean, this is literally what, two pages in a thousands of pages bill. So, it's not
Well,
even on their radar to think about.
I'm glad I kept my RC cars.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are still good. Those are still
For
good.
now,
Right,
the
Ron?
Chinese parts, though, give it 5 years.
Yeah. Are there any Chinese parts in those RC cars? Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000
Oh.
pages. That's crazy.
100%.
Do they might sync to the cloud. Oh, but then again, Google. Hey, that's a legitimate comparison. The Google car. So they really couldn't do much with that. Oh, spicy comment there by Lon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Very
Spicy.
controversial.
Things are getting very spicy now.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't even read it.
1,000 pages.
We're all very quiet now.
Mm.
Everyone's frozen.
My
Reading
comment
Lon's
about
comments.
I think at least my comment about the nothing in box. I haven't even talked about DJI. I don't know if Walmart has a DJI drone shop. I mean, all those $100, $50, $100 drones nobody ever heard of. They don't have any information on them.
Have you guys looked at Walmart's section of drones lately? I can't even remember the last time I saw a bunch of crappy drones there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I did buy a drone from Walmart, a DJI drone. I bought the Spark from Walmart.
Recently,
not
though, I don't know what their
well,
selection looks like recently.
Spark isn't
You just
recent.
said
Cuppi,
the
nothing.
Spark, you know how old that
Nothing
is.
more than like $35, and it's all kitty drones, like 50 feet away drones. Yeah, and it's gone.
He's more.
Yeah.
Listen, Greg is more optimistic than I am, Patrick. Yeah, we got to get together and fly, man. We gotta do some flying. It's been
Now,
a while
John,
since I've been able
is
to
it true
fly
you
the
got a
Avata.
chance to- John, is it true you got a chance to fly the Avata 2 with the FPV controller?
I did. I have a video up. It was a blast.
Oh yeah, you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Very, very heavy. It feels heavier to fly to me. Like I can't tell whether I think Avata 1 handles better in full manual versus Avata 2.
Okay.
I genuinely think that the Avata 2 just doesn't get as much thrust, and it probably just comes down to the tri-blade. Because the original Avata was what, the 5-blade?
5 or 6 blades, yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes a huge difference. Like when I was trying to do the power loops, I was needing to put so much throttle to get up and over, and I didn't remember needing to do that with the Avata 1. But I haven't flown it side by side. Oh, Patrick, we already
we went down there or whatever.
we went down that rabbit hole earlier, dude.
Yeah, it's a lot of hoops have to be jumped through. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of hoops.
And then Victor can bring up the legal ramifications, just like TikTok. I'm sure at some point DJI will enter into a lawsuit, and that'll slow the procedure down even more. So
yeah, it might not. Yeah, it might not slow it down directly, but it depending on where it goes.
yeah. So
Yeah, no worries. We're
yeah.
everybody
We-
seems so defeated. Everybody.
Yeah, we
seems
ran
so
a long
defeated.
time tonight, but Vic kind of
Yep.
pumped us up a little bit at the beginning. So gave us more hope than we had. That there still could be this thing could either be shut down or modified or some sort of hope.
Just have to keep an eye on it. And
Exactly.
hey, listen, and if DJI somehow does escape it because this whole thing blows up in reconciliation, the only thing that I would say as drone pilots of DJI's gear, I still think we should all demand just some more openness, just some more transparency from them. Like I said, get the app back on the Google Play Store, clean up whatever they need to do.
Yeah, as you
things like
pointed out
that.
earlier, if Congress would show their hand, that would force DJI to respond in some way or another.
Yeah, I mean, people were
without
wondering
Congress
if a
showing their
deal
hand,
had been
DJI's got
reached.
nothing to really. Nobody's holding them accountable really when they're not showing what they're doing.
Yeah, that's another thing too. People thought that the removal of the flight logs might have meant that a deal had been reached. But
yeah, not so.
there's been no evidence of that thus far too.
Or if a deal, somebody got screwed in the deal.
It actually makes me worry. Shouldn't that stuff go through the FCC or the FAA first before it gets to Congress? Like, shouldn't they say, "Hey, man"?
Well, I think Congress is in charge. Congress is basically in charge of these two departments.
Right.
Well, Vic told us the proposal is saying FCC add DJI to the covered list, and then once they're on the covered list, then no new hardware can be approved. It doesn't ban the current hardware from being used, so your stuff doesn't become a brick overnight. The concern is, and Vic Watts said that he's not really worried about it, that prior gear could be revoked, but again, there's nothing that says in the bill to go and revoke the old stuff. That would be something the FCC could decide on its own to do, but that would also open up a whole can of worms.
Yeah.
So,
and Vic did say the staffers he talked to on Miss S's staff said that wasn't going to happen.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're just gonna. Yeah, we just need to watch it and see what happens, man. I mean, at the end of the day, and
there's no guarantees one way or the other here.
I think also if it does happen, I do think the hobby will live on. The hobby will survive and find a way. It's just gonna suck for a while. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's just gonna suck. But I don't think the hobby will be dead.
And probably if you're a camera drone guy, the more drones you have in your hangar, the longer you'll be flying, as far as, when some drones break and you can't get them repaired, you got another one to go to.
Could you imagine if, as a result of this, Autel decided to sell their drone division to some American company, and all of a sudden people could start buying Autel, and it would be American? I mean, I know a lot of people don't like Skydio, rightfully so, because of what's going on. Right. But what if that happened? Would you guys go out and buy some Autel? I mean, I think of Autel because to me, they're the only ones that have come even close to offering what DJI does.
Right. I could get by with an Autel camera drone.
Yeah, I think a number of us could get by with an Autel quad.
Yeah. I've had Autel drones. Their Evo 2 Pro, which is more of the high end of their consumer drones, was very good. And I had the Autel, their mini, one of the ones I put in the ocean at the meetup, whatever. And it was a bad little drone, just a little kind of underpowered and whatever. And of course, they have two consumer drones, the Lite and the mini one, and they haven't updated in almost 3 years now. So that kind of not that you need to update a drone every 6 months like DJI does, but they are getting a little bit behind the curve already.
But if you listen to what Vic had said, and I read this too last week, Autel maybe is talking about putting Autel on the same list as DJI.
Yeah, well, Mike, I think that's where John was going. Autel would sell off their drone division to say, say Best Buy. What if they sold to Best Buy and Walmart so they could stock their shelves with the Autel drones, and then that would get them away from being a Chinese company. I guess they would still have to make more parts in the U.S. It's a slippery slope.
Well, my understanding isn't necessarily that all the parts have to be made in the U.S. It's more about the software, who the company is owned by. Like, not every little transistor, every little piece doesn't have to be done here. That's a big, I think that's a big misunderstanding actually of this situation too. American made doesn't mean every single thing inside of it has to be American.
Well, the DFR is the ones talk about Chinese parts. The CCP does not. The current one does not mention DJI. But the other one, which could come up, does talk about Chinese parts, which would affect Skydio. 5 years down the road. So,
maybe they can make some stuff in Malaysia and Taiwan. So
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I mean, they make DJI stuff in. I mean, oops, Anzu. I mean, they make Anzu stuff in Malaysia,
Malaysia.
right?
Malaysia.
Yeah. Richard says this we don't say the word ban anymore, but this will save him a lot of money if not a whole lot of DJI drones come out. And Patrick's saying that he needs to keep all his hops and themies around.
Oh,
Yeah, he was thinking of selling all those, and now he's thinking got to hold on to them, right?
oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And
DeMarco
Richard says his 4-year-old Evo 2's still flying great.
Oh.
Hike and Fly says, let's go Celtics. Anybody had the score tonight in the NBA Finals? The Celtics need one more to take that series.
I do not.
Hey, no, wait, hold on a second. Can you imagine not have DJI drones anymore, and then we're all flying Hubsons? That would be terrible.
Well, Patrick will be flying his Anafi.
Hey, that Anafi still works pretty well. Okay.
That would be like a big setback. We'd be talking about how bad the cameras are. Oh yeah, like this color looks camera's green.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, DeMarco. Can you imagine we got a DroneNation? All we're talking about is Hubs and Themies again.
No, here's what would happen. Like, you would just be talking about things that we talk about.
Hey, we got to change the name back to. We're changing it back to DroneNation.
DroneNation, got it.
Get that Xeno out of the closet, DeMarco.
Oh, it's gone. It's in Cuppi's closet.
Cuppi has it.
No.
Boston's up by 20. Thanks for covering, Drone.
Thanks, Dre.
Yeah, Dre. John's getting a good night hug there. Well, listen, guys.
Getting a good night hug, yes.
We've gone on
nothing compared to a Texas style hug, though. I'll tell you that.
Oh, you got that. You missed those, don't you, John? I know you do.
We've gone almost 2 hours now, so we're gonna let people get to bed here, or get on to something now. So I want to thank the people that are going first. Vic for coming on tonight, catch us up. Mark is coming on, and he's saying as long as he could, he's going on a big adventure tomorrow. Wish I was gone with him. And John, thanks for joining us tonight. Always love your input. You always send great information to me privately and so on. So glad we could talk about a little bit on the show tonight. And great to see DeMarco back on set today. Are you done with travel baseball now, or just a night off?
No. Baseball for the Twins is over, but what has started is football conditioning. So.
Okay.
Not me.
Okay.
But,
okay. Yeah. So you'll be back with us on Monday nights then?
Most Monday nights. He has practice from 6 to 7. No, but I can make it home and shower and get all ready for it. So yeah.
It's good to see you back, man.
Yeah,
DeMarco, I'm glad you helped.
Good to hear you, man. Cuppi, you are one smart dude, man. You are.
Oh, I appreciate that, man.
You know
that's why we put him in charge. That's why we put him in charge of saving these DJI drones.
You too.
And Mike, special thanks to Mike Wright for joining us again. Nobody saw the top. Well, Mike, we never got to talk about it. Mike had the same weekend Ray Kelly had damage. Mike had tennis ball size hail that did thousands of dollars of damage to his property and autos, and it totaled his wife's car. Hail.
Well, he was totaled the car and my 2 daughters damage on their cars, my truck, $9,000 on my F-150, $40,000 damage to my house.
How long did that hail last, Mike?
About 15 minutes.
Wow.
Tennis ball.
Damn, dude.
Some baseball size. Even
I hadn't seen that. Wow.
Yeah.
But luckily, tell them the good part, Mike. The insurance company did come through with some checks.
So far, they pay a certain amount, and then they'll pay additional more once I pay. They show I've got 2 years to get it fixed, and once I show them the receipts, they'll reimburse me some more. But it still cost me $10,000 from depreciation and the deductibles. So anyway,
always something about weather.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's just something we have to deal with as far as Midwest and Central U.S. Ron, hail was never really a problem in Jersey.
Yeah, I've never seen anything.
You have to worry about it.
Yeah, once in a while you get small hail. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
One good thing about it. The good thing, I say good. even though it's going to cost me 10 grand on the house, we plan on selling a house in the next few months. So it'll have a new roof on the house, on the shed, new painting, all the fences be painted.
Yeah, that'll look good for the sale.
And realtors love that stuff.
All that's new. So,
realtors love that.
For selling. Yeah.
Yeah. You get to sell and say brand new roof.
Exactly. But enough to spend. The fencing, the garage doors, everything. I mean, were damaged. Staining.
John, are you guys in the heat dome yet? They're talking about back east in the news. Are you in the 90s yet?
We are in the 90s, and we're gonna be by Thursday. It's gonna be like 96, and then Friday it's gonna be 99. Wow. So yeah, it's gonna burn everything. Yep, we're gonna have the same thing you guys have on the East Coast. Just gonna make its way across.
Well, today at the Jersey Shore, it didn't even make 80 today. It was kind of the ocean breeze is kind of cool today.
Yeah.
So it has.
Ron, are you thinking about? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to ask. It hasn't got close to being hot yet here, but go ahead.
The word hot made me think of 3D printer and hot end. You thinking about getting into 3D printing anytime lately? Because there's a really good bamboo sale going on right now, man.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about the sale, John.
That X1 Cuppi, how's that one?
Hold on a sec. Let me just check so the Bamboo Lab still has their anniversary sale going on, and you can get the mini for just $199. So
$199.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I've got the full size, the A1 over here, and dude, this printer has been exactly what I wanted it to be. You pick something out, you put it in the slicer, you send it, and it pretty much prints. So
no Chinese parts or anything, right?
I love it. What?
John, no Chinese parts on that, huh?
Oh, yeah, God, don't even get into that. Don't get into the bamboo cloud and all that other stuff, man.
Would that mini X1 be worth it, John, or?
The A1 mini, that is an excellent printer.
How much is that one for sale? Like $199, right? Or no?
It's $199 it's $199 for the printer itself, and that would let you print one spool. If you go up to the A1 mini combo, the A1 mini combo will get you this. You see this wheel? This wheel of filament next to the printer? That's what they call the AMS, or the multicolor system. And if you decide to go for that, then you can have 4 colors on at once, and it's you do multicolor prints, which is pretty sweet. Basically, I've been printing TPU, which is the soft stuff for all my FPV quads. This little star here is an example of something I've printed with the multicolor, because again, you can have your black and your yellow or whatever, up to four colors on it. Anyway, dude, the thing about the Bamboo Lab is that, again, you put it on there and it prints, and there's very little messing around, and there's not a lot of maintenance. I've had this printer for like 16 months. You can I don't know if you can do that, man. See, it has another AMS port on it, but they haven't enabled it. Like, there's a second port to plug in one of these that in theory would take one of these, but it's not enabled on that, at least not yet. We'll see. By the way, Bamboo Lab, the engineers for it, are former DJI guys, just so you know. Probably part of why the printer is the way it is. But yeah, I love it. I've gotten a lot of use out of my 3D printer. So
sounds like we need a Printer Nation show sometime.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, it's loaded with Chinese parts. The whole thing is
and it's
Chinese,
connected. You said it's already connected to the internet, huh?
It has a bamboo cloud, which you can use. Whether you can use it if you want or not, it's an option is there. Actually, it's funny you bring that up. Bamboo Lab allows you, if you want to, it's a one-way street, but they allow you to completely erase the firmware that's in there and put on a different open source firmware if you want to. Again, you decide you're going to leave their ecosystem. That's your choice, but you can completely leave their software if you so choose. I've often thought to myself, wouldn't that be a neat option if DJI drones had that, for people that wanted to go that route? Like what might people come up with if you could
like
flash
open source.
Yes, essentially, yes. Yep. Would be interesting if they offered that.
Hey,
bamboo band. It could be next.
Worried about a bamboo band now.
It could be next. You never know.
Yeah. So those things are great. I don't really have the space, or I don't think I have the space for it, or whatever. But those prices is hard. Cheaper than buying a drone.
Yeah, well, if you don't get the color system, then you're looking at even smaller than this is, because I bought the larger size version.
Right, which is an extra how much?
Geez, I don't know. You have to just just go on the site and check the prices. Yeah, it's a little bit more.
Yeah. I know Bill Thomas is a big fan of the bamboos.
Oh yeah, well, they're solid printers. It's everything I wanted. I wanted something that I wasn't gonna have to fart around with, and yep.
Wasn't like one time you were share recently, and Johnny sent you some kind of a thing for the 3D printer that you needed? Wasn't you were on here and Johnny sent you some file?
Yeah, I can't recall now what it was. Yeah, he shared something with me.
Johnny bought a 3D printer recently. It's not a bamboo. I think he bought the one Billy Kyle had.
Yes, the Anchor make.
Okay, yeah.
Which is also a really good printer as well. Like Johnny and I have gone back and forth and swapped 3D printer tips and stuff. He's helped me figure out stuff for mine, honestly.
Right.
Because he's got more experience printing than I do.
Different brands.
What?
Some of the files are compatible between the different brands of printers.
Yeah, but it's gotten pretty straightforward. Anyway, Ron, all I'm saying is if you're looking to just play with a 3D printer, now's a good time to
started cheap. Yeah.
Get in on the sale.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona Drone Dude's asking if they have open source firmware for the A1 yet.
Yeah, I just can't I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. It's not something that I'm interested in at present time.
Right. And Arizona Drone Dude's been printing for years. When I was on Mikey's show one time, he printed like a tablet holder, I think for the Air 2 or something like that for us, or one of the older drones.
Yep. Now it's not a mystery. I can print all those things. So
yeah. All right, guys, that's going to be it then. So to everybody that held in there to the end of the chat, you should win like a prize or something like that. Shame we don't have prizes, but thanks for all the comments, all the support in chat, and whatever. And I hope we helped to get a better understanding tonight of what's going on with DJI down there in Washington. I hope we gave mostly true information tonight, no, not too much misleading stuff. So so we'll see you back next week. We'll have Ryan Laureata. Mike, help me with the pronunciation.
I can't pronounce his last name.
Yeah, I'm not good with my French. And we're gonna have Ryan on, and we're gonna talk about a lot of local regs and things like that too. Whatever, maybe that Michigan case that's been in the news a lot recently, that the Michigan security guards arrested somebody flying a drone off campus or whatever. So it's going to be a good conversation next week. So we'll see you then. Everybody keep cool out there. I mean, that heat bubbles coming over most of the U.S. So keep cool, keep your air conditioning on, stay inside during the hot points of the day. Mike, all this stuff living in Texas. You know what to do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So good night, and be safe.
Okay, y'all take care. Bye.
Peace.